Communications service providers are increasingly turning to open source as they build out their cloud infrastructures, 5G networks and edge deployments. They are looking for commercially supported open source to deliver core-to-edge capabilities. Well, joining me now is Daryl Jordan-Smith, Global Vice President, Vertical Industries and Accounts at Red Hat. Daryl, very good to see you again.
Hi, nice to see you. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. These days, everyone is talking about open source and the hybrid cloud. So what sets Red Hat apart?
Well, Red Hat as a business has really founded itself on open source. And over 97% of all of the companies that we serviced or surveyed in the last 12 months certainly have all said that open source is a core part of their strategy. So we're really trying to focus and leverage our heritage in open source, all the communities that we participate in open source, and bring that code to life through distributions that we offer to the marketplace in conjunction with all of our partners.
And how does partnering with Red Hat help the ecosystem to scale their businesses and services?
Well, partnering with Red Hat is an important element of scaling your services and your ability to deliver network-orientated and/or application services across the network from the core to the edge. And the reason for that is that we are heavily involved in all the communities in the open source world that actually delivers code that addresses demands and requirements in that part of the industry. We're very focused on delivering value there, and we bring a lot of our engineering and our capabilities in terms of engaging with our partners, in terms of being able to drive that. We also bring a very rich heritage of customers in our, in our OpenShift platform. We're growing that business with over 70% on an annual basis. We have over 2,000 customers now using OpenShift. We have a growing portfolio of customers in the telecommunications space, modernizing their OSS and BSS infrastructure in those areas. We've recently announced at IBM Think and at Red Hat Summit a number of customers, Vodafone in India, Airtel in India, Verizon in the United States, actually using our Kubernetes-based platform to deliver, core edge-based services on our technology. So we have a lot of expertise in Red Hat. We bring that expertise and those use cases to the communities. We have engineering teams that work very closely with our partners, and those partners themselves really then focus on working with us to fine-tune their applications and services to the OpenShift platform, which I said earlier in the conversation works and runs not just in a private instance, but also runs very comprehensively in AWS, in the IBM Cloud, in Google, in Microsoft. So you write your applications as a developer once or as a partner once, and you can deploy it in any network-based infrastructure across that entire spectrum from the core out to the far edge.
How can customers accelerate their path to the edge with open source technologies delivered by Red Hat and your partners?
Customers can accelerate because they want to also contribute. So the great thing about open source is many of our customers initiate projects themselves in communities. They work very closely with Red Hat, the Red Hat ecosystems. Companies like Intel is a good example when they want to look at network acceleration. Companies like NVIDIA who are looking at GPU acceleration. Other companies that are all part of that ecosystem. So customers accelerate their network deployments and are able to innovate themselves. They're able to contribute to those communities. They're able to provide services that are based on things that they can create themselves and contribute into the community, and the communities themselves in the open source world help maintain, strengthen, harden, secure a lot of that code.
Now, the move to containerization is gathering a lot of momentum. How does this impact Red Hat's approach to market?
It's gaining a lot of momentum, and I'm pleased that you recognize that. It's adjusting our approach to the market because we're actually pivoting a significant amount of resources to address the opportunity and help our customers in that particular space. We're doing a lot in our engineering to make sure that our partners can actually engage with us and move faster in terms of actually deploying their applications and services, not in just a lab, but into production and helping manage the life cycle around that application and service. And that's a very big and important thing. You can put a piece of code out there, you can run an application, but if you don't have a life cycle, i.e. you understand what is the networking below it and the other applications in the world that need to interact with it, and you manage that totality of a life cycle, you don't really have a viable service or a viable product to work towards. So we've been spending a lot of our energy in making sure that not only do we certify and validate the application sets, but we look at the entire ecosystem of services that surround it in order for that to work moving forward. And as you would imagine, in a cloud native world, in using containerization technologies, the orchestration of all of that is far more complex. You can spin up an application that is stateless, that runs in a public cloud instance, and that application could also sit in your own private network. And you may want to interchange where that application resides as you get further out to the edge, depending on the demands of the data that supports that application require. So it's a very complex model. It's a very complex set of technology. And at Red Hat, we're really focused on the life cycle of not just the functionality of our particular product, but also everything that works around that particular application.
The pace of innovation in open source is so rapid. How can Red Hat manage this on behalf of its customers and partners?
Yeah, I think it's very rapid. And let's put some data around the word rapid. In Kubernetes, at any given time, there are over 2,000 bugs that the community is working on resolving. There are over 47 commits a day to that platform, which has resulted in 95% of all the code base in the project, a huge project like Kubernetes, being changed over the last 3 years. Red Hat is one of the very few companies who understands how to engage with all of those communities, works with those communities, identifies problems associated with very specific use cases in those communities with our partners. We have a dedicated engineering team that really works in the telco domain to help engage with those partners around those use cases and gets the products and gets the services up and running in the totality of the life cycle, as we were discussing earlier.
So why is now the time for companies to partner with Red Hat?
Well, now's the time to partner with Red Hat because of the momentum that we're seeing in the market around OpenShift. Our installed base of OpenStack, which is our virtual machine-based telco cloud platform. We're in the process of obviously growing our virtual machine-based telco cloud based on OpenStack and helping a lot of our customers move into the cloud-native world. We've geared up a significant amount of engineering and focus with our partners to support that and help manage that life cycle. And all those things, make it a great time to interact and work more closely with Red Hat. The other thing I would like to say on the validation and certification side of the conversation, we've done a lot to help our partners get engaged with our engineering, work with the communities, help understand and validate a lot of the use cases so we can deliver real solutions in a much more predictive and faster pace to the market. Because what we're seeing in the market is a real push to virtualize infrastructure, whether it's on containers or VMs, more so than we actually have seen over the last 5 years.
Well, Daryl, thank you very much indeed for joining us today.
Thank you.